Was Thokozani Magwaza pushed out of his position as the CEO of SASSA? How was the work relationship between Magwaza and Minister Dlamini? Will a new service provider be ready to take over the payment of social grants by end of March next year? And what can be made of the swiftness with which Magwaza's replacement was announced? What time is it? It's question time. And welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. Opposition parties and civic organizations have expressed shock at the sudden resignation of the CEO of SASSA, Thokozani Magwaza. While the Social Development Department says Magwaza's services were terminated after a consultative process in terms of his contract of employment, some opposition parties say he was pushed out of his position. Observers say Magwaza's efforts to get the post office taking over the payment of social grants, as well as his cancellation of a 50 million rand workstream contract, are the straw that broke the camel's back. It has emerged that Magwaza received death threats after terminating this multi-million rand contract. His resignation comes a few months after former Social Development DG Zane Dangor quit his office under questionable circumstances. Meanwhile, Dlamini has announced that Pearl Bhengu has been appointed as the interim CEO of SASSA. We are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Our international number +2789-110-4210. And our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. Well, today my guest, Dominic Msibi, Portfolio Director for Special Projects at Organization Undoing Tax Abuse. And joining us on the line is Themba Godi. He's the Standing Committee on Public Accounts Chairperson. That's SCOPA. Let me start with Themba Godi. Themba Godi, thank you very much for joining us on the line. You had, prior to Thokozani Magwaza's resignation, indicated that you actually feel that he is being, constructively dismissed or being put under pressure to an extent where he is actually being pushed out of SASSA?
Look, the reality is that Magwaza did not resign. He had no reason to resign, having only assumed that position of CEO in November last year. And having proven himself by turning around the road accident fund as well as the government pension fund, and having said before that he will never resign unless he is fired. So there should therefore be no talk of Magwaza having resigned. I spoke to him on Sunday evening about the death threats and about the letter I received from the minister telling him that she can no longer work with him. Their relationship has broken irretrievably. So all she's prepared to do is to negotiate his exit package. So I want to say to the thousands and thousands of people who are watching the program that it is important that the public is treated with respect and is taken seriously. And people don't just say things that do not make sense on an important issue as this one.
But Themba, by the way, let me also put it on record that my producers did invite the Department of Social Development and SASSA and the minister, well, as usual, they had made some commitments and then they decided not to participate in the program. They claim that they will participate next week. I don't know who told them that we'll be talking about this matter next week, but that's the attitude that we have received from the Department of Social Development and SASSA in as far as this matter is concerned. Minister Bathabile Dlamini doesn't want to come and talk to South Africans about this matter, at least on this platform. Probably she may be using other platforms, we do not know. But Thembagodi, what happens now going forward? There are issues that have been raised regarding this 50 million rand tender that was cancelled, but you hold a view that actually looters are standing by now to loot.
Yeah, no, look, Magwaza did the right thing because National Treasury had declared the appointment of the work streams to be irregular, meaning that any money spent on that program is irregular. So he had no alternative but to immediately cancel that contract in the first instance. But in the second instance, the work streams were working parallel to the management of SASSA because they were reporting directly to the minister, preparing how SASSA should take over the payment of grants and or getting itself ready to do that, which is actually the responsibility of the management of SASSA, who should do it and report to the minister, but it was the other way around. So actually you are having parallel management of the process. And so it was logical that those people had to be terminated. And now they then need to go back to National Treasury and say, these people gave us value for money. If not, then it becomes fruitless and wasteful expenditure, meaning it needs to be recovered. So it was correct for Magwaza to say, hey, stop, because this thing is irregular.
But now, you're dealing with a very arrogant minister here. She has really displayed this impunity with which she has been treating either inquiries in as far as anything has got to do with SASSA is concerned, or the manner in which she relates even to journalists, and I can only speak for my colleagues in this case. So how are you going to deal with the matter? Well,
Mpho, she is also dealing with a determined standing committee on public accounts. We are going to be relentless. So we are not going to back down. We want accountability. We want to ensure that the disbursement of grants is a matter that should be handled by the state. And there is a state institution, the post office, that can do that. We met with them at the end of March together with SASSA. They demonstrated that they had the capacity, they had the capability, they have the technological know-how. Anyway, post office used to disperse social grants when it was still provincialized. The CPS got it when it was centralized. So it is nothing new for the post office to do. And it will cost the state, I believe, much less than it currently is the case. Well, even if it were to be expensive, it will still be going to the state.
Okay.
So it's still a win-win situation for the public and the state.
Hold it there, Tamba. Just stay on the line with us there. Well, as outer, I mean, I've also seen that you have, thrown your penny worth of comment there. Basically, you are also not impressed about what is happening at SASSA. And I must repeat to our viewers, my producers have it on record, that they invited the SASSA people, particularly Minister Bathabile Dlamini, and they have refused to come and participate or at least tell the public what is happening there. So please don't blame us.
Good afternoon, Mpho, and good afternoon to the viewers at home.
Yeah.
Outer absolutely is against what the minister is doing. We're not only throwing in our penny's worth, we're throwing in a whole lot more than that. The appointment of the work streams, as we know, and as confirmed by Treasury, is highly irregular. because PFMA processes were not followed in appointing them. Beyond that, they were instructed by the minister to report directly to her, which is out of the ordinary, given that the establishment had a functional CEO. One begins to wonder then what the reason was and what the intent was behind having them report directly to her. Over and above that, we have failed to come across any progress reports that would justify the 90% that the work streams were paid. So far, we have it on record that they've been paid in the tune of 47 million rand. And you wonder what for, because there is no evidence that they have delivered at all.
My word. Are we in the wrong jobs in this country? And you are in Durban. Welcome.
Hello. Look, what I want to say is, you know, I think until we get rid of Jacob Zuma, we're going to have problems.
Well, but
Big
in
problems.
this case, and it's Bathabile Dlamini, not Zuma.
Sorry?
I'm saying in this instance, it's Bathabile Dlamini, not necessarily Jacob Zuma.
Well, I know, but, you know, there's so much corruption going on within the government.
Oh, okay.
And really, until it goes, yeah, I'm just hoping and praying come August the 8th that the decent politicians within the ANC will see that they've got to get rid of him and the corrupt ones within the government and start all over again. I'm sure the ANC would win again. I can't see them going out of government, but we've got to get rid of the corruption that was in the government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And, well, I was distracted a bit there, watching the minister, wanting to do some gwara there, but when we wanted to come to question time, she's not available. I don't know why, but I really hope that, Minister, one day you'll find time to come and just talk to the people of South Africa on this platform and perhaps just explain. Maybe we are not understanding some of your actions, and through your interpretation and explanation, we would understand you and SASSA better. Now, what are you going to do? Some of these things are being done already. Well, there's an acting CEO now who is said to be an ally of the minister, so you know, possibilities are there. But before you answer me, let's take Nathan. Nathan is in Swellendam. Welcome.
Hello, Mpho. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Nathan.
Yeah, Mpho. I just want to say that minister, you know, she's also corrupt like Zuma, because she don't want to attend your program, because your program is #1 on the TV, and they must answer questions from the people. You see, where did the money go for the airtime that they deduct? Our people did not even have phones, but they deduct 100 rand, 150 rand for airtime. So they are stealing, man. You see? But they say if the train's head is not right, all the coaches won't be right, it will derail. And that is what that speaker said, the caller before this said that Zuma is to blame for all these things because they are all linked to the Guptas. Thank you, Mpho.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Well, let me allow you time to respond.
First of all, I'd just like to put it on record that OUTA believes that Magwaza did not resign. Magwaza, we believe, was pushed out because he did not toe the minister's line. He was the one hope because he was bold enough to cancel the work streams. And to say that his relationship with the minister was not amicable is an understatement. What we are going to do going forward needs planning, because anyone can deduce that the person that has now been appointed as acting CEO, Pearl Bhengu, must have an alliance of some sort with the minister for her to put her in. What we are very concerned about is what her next step is going to be. Has Magwaza been pushed out because she has hopes and designs of reinstating the work streams in one shape, form or another? That's extremely concerning to us, and we need to go back to the drawing board to plan our next line of action.
Themba Godi, let me just get this from you. What is going to happen here with SASSA? You have less than 12 months before the other contract is supposed to come into effect. Is this going to happen?
Yeah, well, Mpho, the last time SASSA appeared before us, we had agreed that we need to get a report from them, a roadmap towards April 2018.
Yes.
And we had decided long before Magwaza was removed that when we go back to Parliament beginning of August, SASSA will be high on our list of entities that must come, basically to say to us how far are they in complying with the rulings of the Constitutional Court, and how far are they with the appointment of the post office.
Okay.
Remember, National Treasury has already granted SASSA the legal basis to appoint the post office. They've granted them the deviation that they can appoint the post office on a government-to-government basis. So there should be no issue whatsoever. And now we have additional impetus to make sure that this meeting happens to get guarantees that the contracting of the post office is a fait accompli and it's going to go ahead. We need the timelines. When are they going to start to phase the post office in and phase CPF out, so that come the end of March, it is completely out of SASSA.
William, you are in Witbank.
Hello, Mpho.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah, Mpho, I want to agree with the two previous callers.
Yes.
Yeah, these ministers in Mpho are getting protection from Jacob Zuma. Until we get rid of Jacob Zuma, we will always have these problems. Thank you.
Okay, William. Well, yeah, that was quite brief there. But then, Themba, let me come back to you. What should ordinary citizens do now? I mean, things can't just go haywire without people really. I mean, these are the main shareholders here in this whole transactions.
Sure. You know, for those of us who fought for freedom, you know, it is dawning that democracy actually requires more from the people than we thought. We need an active citizenry that is alive to the unfolding dynamics of governance or in the political landscape. It is important that civil society organizations, political parties, religious bodies keep a very close eye to the going-ons in government. And in this particular instance, we are toying around with the welfare of 17 of the most vulnerable of our society. And the kind of anxiety they went through at the beginning of this year, it's something that we must never see, because it is a finger of accusation against us as leaders that we're failing our people. We have failed them in the last 23 years in large measure. And now, when we're threatening grant recipients, we're threatening the very, very last line, beyond which it will mean that our fight for freedom was meaningless.
Robert, you are in Balito.
Hi there.
Welcome.
What I want to say is our President Zuma, he's talking about white capital being such a bad thing. But he is the biggest supporter of white capital.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Robert. How so?
Well, look at Sasa, for instance. Net1 is an American company owned by white people. White capital.
Yeah.
They're buying trains from Spain.
White.
Whites. They want to buy nuclear plants from Russia.
White.
All white capital. But he's condemning white capital, but he is, in fact, the biggest supporter.
Okay. Robert, thanks very much for that call. And indeed, we're taking your calls on the numbers that should be on your screen there, so that we hear your views in as far as this matter around SASSA is concerned. The CEO was, well, he's no longer in office. Whether he resigned, he was pushed, he was forced to go, whatever the reason is. And it would have been so nice if Minister Batabile Dlamini had joined us, not next week, but today, as she or her handlers told our producers. 089-1104-210. Thembagodi is raising civil society's role in this instance. I'm not so sure if that is going to help, because in this case I'm thinking is this not some legal matters that are supposed to unfold here?
I agree with Thembagodi on that view, and OUTA has been very active in this instance in particular, in trying to get answers from SASSA. We have been vigorously in contact with the Office of the CEO, sharing the findings of our investigations in this regard, and urging him to cancel the work streams. So for us, it's a victory that before he was pushed off the ship, he actually managed to cancel the work streams. We shall continue to monitor and to engage with the new acting CEO to steer her in a direction that we believe is needed to secure the lives of the most vulnerable in terms of grants.
Mangoba, you are in Mthatha.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening.
Yes, yeah, good day.
I'm talking to Mpho.
Yes.
Mpho, man, I'm in Mthatha. Listen here.
Yes.
This goes beyond Batabile Dlamini. It's not about her. She's just a tip of an iceberg of this whole scandal from the president of this country. Personally, I think the right people to blame is the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, who still maintain that this is not about Zuma and whatever, the dignity of it. Why don't they recall Mr. Zuma? All his cronies, like Batabile, Zwane started this corruption when he was still an MEC.
Yes.
Stealing 30 million, giving to Guptas. It's about Zuma and Guptas and his cronies within the government of the African National Congress. I blame personally the MEC of the ANC for keeping Zuma into power. The country is being raped by the Guptas, assisted by the Zuma, who is kept by the NEC of the ANC in power. It's not about Batabile. Batabile is a minor to this thing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makoba, there in Mthatha. Well, let me just allow me to talk politics. I love politics. Thembagodi, the motion is coming. Which way are you going?
Well, the leadership of the party I represent in Parliament, the African People's Convention, has discussed the issue. We have taken a position. We hope that we will be able to make our position and view very clear on the podium of the National Assembly. I would decline to announce it on this program.
So you're not going to tell us whether you support, which side do you support, the open or secret ballot?
Whether it is open or secret, the mandate that has been given, I'm going to carry through. And I think that we are in a democracy that is underpinned by transparency and accountability. And it is important that the people that we represent must indeed know that we are fulfilling the mandate that they expect of us. We don't want situations like we've seen in Mohale City where one party has had to use a lie detector test against its own members in a secret ballot vote. Because then you then have a situation where you're not sure whether people are indeed prepared to, as Steve Biko said, die for an idea that will live, or they are prepared to live for an idea that will die.
Well, shall we read anything into, obviously, some of the forums that you have attended recently and meetings that you've been seen attending with other opposition parties that are calling for the withdrawal or the resignation of President Zuma?
Well, I would say don't read anything. Just listen to our input on the 8th of August. But what is critical and what is fundamental, which I must stress, is that for those of us who fought for freedom, who served, suffered, and sacrificed, it is always very easy and clear. We always must take aid of the people. As Lenin said, everything for the people, nothing against the people. So there is no way in which the APC would forsake the interests of our people. And how you define those interests is how we are going to articulate our position on the 8th of August.
Themba Godi, seasoned politician, obviously, not giving anything out, but we will wait for that 2 minutes that you have there, the National Assembly, to hear what the party has to say. And thank you indeed also for having taken time to participate. Unlike Minister Bathabile Dlamini, my guests were here, and we really appreciate them. That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests, from me and the entire crew. I will hold.